Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I'm showcasing off a 17 game win streak. So we're going in pretty hard with the last video that I showcased off. Same team, we take another 5-0 after that, and then these sets after, words that you'll be seeing now. So going right into it, I have my Alolan Marowak lead up with a Gengar. It's pretty bad, so I swapped out into my safe swap Azumarill. Here I'm thinking that it is a Shadow Claw bait, so I go ahead and take it and end up taking a Shadow Ball to the face, so that definitely hurt. Here I'm thinking, man, like this might be the end of my streak, but I do play it out. I fire off the Ice Beam, which goes shielded. He is heavily farming me down here, but he decides to make the charge move play, so I actually make the decision to shield that to be able to fire off my own Ice Beam and win back switch advantage. He decides to commit his second shield to this, so this Gengar is pretty loaded up on energy, but my Galvantula is able to come in and Volt Switch one tap it, so that was a lot of wasted energy on that part for him. So Vigoroth comes in, and I am going to go ahead and fire off the Lunge and go ahead and get that debuff. Discharge might have done probably more damage, but I decided to play it kind of more of a long game and take reduced damage, which was optimally the better play, because here he brings in a Zweilous, and look at how much damage this does. Takes it basically all the way out. So here I decided to sack swap my Alolan Marowak, thinking that he was going to go for a Body Slam. End up taking a Dark Pulse, but we survive here. I'm not really super worried just because this Vigoroth does need to fire off a charge move just because the counters are resisted and it's not able to farm me down. So he's gonna have to either fire off a Body Slam or before I get to my Bone Club. So he fires off the Body Slam, I bring back in Galvantula and one tap first game. So good game to my opponent there. Going in here with round 2. So Marowak here is getting led up with a Venusaur, so great lead again. Fire Spins are going to be doing massive damage, and he decides to stay in. Here I make the decision that I needed to shield. I did miscount how many Vine Whips he had, so I didn't want to take a Sludge Bomb, but it's okay, because I did want to preserve some health on that Marowak. So the Bone Club comes in here, and I'm able to Fire Spin it down before it hits its second charge move, which is huge. In comes a Zapdos, which is a little bit of trouble for my back line, so I go ahead and fire off the Shadow Ball. I am going to try to load up to a second Shadow Ball and either take the shield or do that damage. Here Drill Peck is going to do neutral, but it still does a fair amount. And I fire off the Shadow Ball, really hoping to get rid of this Zapdos, but I end up getting the shield. I swap into my Galvantula, not wanting him to really farm up much more. And Drill Peck comes in here. It will do neutral damage, but with how squishy Galvantula is and how hard hitting Zapdos is, it is going to deal quite a bit of damage, as you can see. So he swaps into Registeel, which is a very tough counter for Galvantula, but you'll see how I'm able to handle a lot of these matchups with steel types. Generally, I will try to work up to as many lunges as I can to be able to give it a attack debuff, so that when Galvantula is taken down, the Pokemon behind it coming in will be able to take some reduced damage from it. So Flash Cannon comes in here, takes it out, and I do make the funny mistake here of thinking that my Alolan Marowak had more health than it did, so I swapped it in, realized it had 0 health, and then immediately swapped out to Azumarill. So funny mistake there on my part. He does fire off the Flash Cannon, but look at this. At a 2-stage debuff, it really does no damage. I do make the decision to go ahead and not try to farm at all on this Zapdos and fire off the Ice Beam. Registeel comes back in. He is able to fire off the Flash Cannon, but at this range, it won't be able to take off my Azumarill unless he fires off 2. and fortunately for us, Registeel is at Ice Beam range, and we're able to take it out for this win. So good game to my opponent there. I am excited to see a lot more spicier picks like that Zapdos being out. And even though it's a lot more high risk and high reward, it does have a lot of key matchups to the current meta. So coming in here, my Alolan Marowak is matched up with a Registeel, which is great. We want the Marowak to be matched up to this, so that my backline is a better chance at things. I'm noticing that he's not switching out right now, so of course I'm going to stay in. Lock on, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon is all resisted, so I can take all of his charge moves. And Bone Club is doing super effective, so we're in a good position here. He fires off the Flash Cannon and swaps out to Meganium. So here my play is to go for the Shadow Ball, either do the damage or take a shield, and then swap into Galvantula so that it can see some play as well. I do make the decision here to commit a shield so that I can fire off a lunge afterwards, and even if he does shield it, I can reduce his attack for if I do take another charge move, it is at a reduced attack, so that again I need to preserve the health on this Galvantula just because of how squishy it is. So here I decide not to really farm up at all and fire off the lunge, because I am noticing that he is getting pretty close to a Frenzy Plant. So down goes the Meganium, in comes in the Victory Bell. So this is okay for us because we do have the Alolan Marowak with some health on it. I do need to shield this because a Leaf Blade even at this range would probably take us out. And he swaps back in his Registeel. So here, if you notice, I do charge all the way up to a Shadow Ball before retreating, so that I know that when Victory Bell comes back out, I have a Shadow Ball ready to go. I work all the way up to an Ice Beam, but if you notice here, I do not fire it immediately because I want the Registeel to fire off another Flash Cannon to get me really low, so that the Victory Bell has zero chance of farming down my Azumarill. So in comes the Victory Bell, deletes my Azumarill, and Marowak's able to immediately go for the Shadow Ball and win us this game. So luckily for this team, we do pretty well against a lot of the shadows, namely Victory Bell and Machamp, just because we do have multiple counters for those, and they are fairly squishy. So my Marowak here sees a Shadow Zapdos on the lead, so definitely a very, very spicy pick here. Our gameplay is to work all the way up to a Shadow Ball and then try to bait, just because we know that definitely for these shadows, they don't really always want to take the risk of losing their shadow, so we get them with the Bone Club bait. I am going to, we actually retreats, okay. So he retreats to the Azumarill and we go into Galvantula. So you guys definitely know how this plays out already. We shield up the Ice Beam, just because it's going to do massive damage, and go for back-to-back discharges. So my opponent does not shield here, so we are able to farm down, which is pretty crucial. We are down a shield to them, but in comes the Galarian Stunfisk. So this is another matchup with the steel types that I was talking about before. We are locked into this right now, but we are going to debuff this Stunfisk as much as possible, so that when we go into the next Pokemon, that they have a lot better chance. I was trying to catch a Rock Slide with my Azumarill, but it ended up not working out. So we go back in here with Azu. He's at a debuff. Zapdos comes in already at loaded energy. So I do take a Thunderbolt right there, but I am able to farm down that Zapdos just because of how squishy it is. And we're in an okay position right now, just because we have back-to-back Bone Clubs. So he is able to fire off his own Rock Slide and gets us very low. For some odd reason, I thought I could get to potentially even another Bone Club after this, so I didn't fire off the Shadow Ball, so misplay on my part there. But Azumarill comes back in here for the clutch, gets enough energy for the Ice Beam, and we win probably at a sliver there. He was fairly close to the Rock Slide. So definitely good game from my opponent there. Again, we're loving seeing these Zapdos, especially the Shadow one. So game 5 of this set. We see the Abomasnow. So this is beautiful. This is honestly the best case situation. We are definitely chunking it down. He has no choice but to retreat. Again, we're matching up that Galvantula to the Azumarill. We've seen this matchup quite many times. Here, rarely do I ever bait. It doesn't really yield very much, even at their debuff, just because I wouldn't want to take an Ice Beam either way. Discharge is going to do quite a lot of damage if it goes unshielded. So he does shield up for that. We are going to commit to our second shield as well, and try to get rid of this Azumarill so that my Marowak doesn't really have much else to worry about. Here I choose not to farm down anymore, just because he is getting pretty close to his Ice Beam and I don't want to take the risk. Back in comes Abomasnow. Great, we do get to the lunge, and this is also going to be doing super effective damage, and takes out the Abomasnow as well, so great. We see a Galarian Stunfisk, so I bring back in my Alolan Marowak, and it's pretty straightforward here. I'm going to do as much damage as I can with the Alolan Marowak, just because he doesn't know that I have an Azumarill in the back line. So best case scenario here is we actually get him to use an Earthquake. So that's probably the first time I've ever wished for my Marowak to take an Earthquake, but it works out. I know he doesn't really have any energy left, and he knows that that's game. So good game there. That's our next 5-0. So we did have a set previously before the video I posted that had won me one game. That 5-0 puts us at 6. I got another 5-0 off screen, which was at 11, and this puts us at 16. So up here, I'm going to be able to show you my last few games of that 17 win game streak. And I'm speeding through all of this, and up here you'll be able to see the 16 win streak before we get into the next battles. So here Marowak is seeing Skarmory. So this is a really good lead for us. We do need to watch out for the charge moves. They still do quite a bit of damage. I do commit to the shield here because I'm noticing his Skarmory isn't swapping out. So I am going to keep my Marowak alive just in case we see the Caleb Pang double grass team. He brings in the Hypno. I go straight for the Shadow Ball, and he doesn't shield it. So that Hypno is absolutely deleted. In comes the Skarmory. We go in again with another Shadow Ball, and he doesn't shield this one either. So we just straight farm it down, and at this point, I mean, we're looking really good. The Shadow Machamp comes in. We'll just throw the Bone Club and go ahead and switch into Azu, and that's about game. And my opponent knows it either, so definitely gotta shield those Shadow Balls, especially if you're running something like a Shadow Hypno. You have a lot of times less of a choice. So this is the last game of the set. We do see the Alolan Marowak into a Shadow Machamp. So I am working up here, trying to get to the Bone Club. I probably could have stayed into this matchup and shielded. I decide to swap out and try to catch a Rock Slide, but I end up failing for that. In comes Shadow Abomasnow, so I'm thinking, I mean, it's okay now. I am going to take an Energy Ball which is going to hurt, but I don't really want to commit shields at the moment, just because I can come back in and farm with my Alolan Marowak. So I do get to the Ice Beam, but I choose to let him take me out. Alolan Marowak comes back in. We're able to farm down before he gets to his next charge move. I'm thinking I'm about to see the Machamp again, but then I see the Sableye, and then I regret letting my Azumarill go down. Here I swap into a Galvantula thinking I can take a foul play, but that was a huge mistake. I definitely cannot take a foul play. The Machamp is loaded up on energy here, so I do have to shield everything that it's going to hit me with. So second shield comes in, and he is probably going to try to farm me down. I do go for the lunge just because this is most likely going to get shielded, and if I can get a... oh, so he doesn't even shield that. So in comes the Sableye, I get farmed down, and I'm trying to go for the Bone Club to bait, and then try to go for a Shadow Ball to see if I can do maybe enough damage, but we don't even get to that. So good game to my opponent there. A lot of mistakes on my part, but that ends our 17 game win streak, which I'll be able to show you up here. And then after this, I'll be able to show you the team comp that I was running and the movesets and the IVs for it. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I had a blast running this team, and we start off season 4 with a 17-0 win streak. Let's go. So I'm hoping that the rest of the season we'll have this much luck. But thank you guys for tuning in. Please leave us a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.